Let's go over the difference between the standing and seated calf raise. So when we think of the calves, we're typically thinking of two muscles of the lower leg. That's the gastrocnemius and the soleus. If I had to pick one thing to do for the lower leg, it would be the standing calf raise. Reason being is because the standing calf raise hits both the gastroc and the soleus a ton. You can recruit a ton of muscle fibers when you're doing the standing calf raise. So to do the standing calf raise, I recommend that you set the shoulder pads in a way that you have to squat in and out of that machine. Okay, the reason being is because you want to get the maximum range of motion on your calf. So I squat in, I stand up, straighten my legs, and I move through the fullest range of motion. Here's a little tip. Pause at the bottom of each rep. I noticed that my calves get way more sore, and I actually got some calf development when I pause at the bottom and don't just bounce through that range of motion. Might mean you get a little less weight, but it will, I believe, in the long run, actually develop your calves, which is the whole reason why you're doing the standing calf raise. You contrast this with the seated calf raise. The seated calf raise, since your knees are bent, is not going to hit your gastroc, but instead focus more on just the soleus. Now remember, the seated calf raise is for the soleus, the standing calf raise is for the gastroc and the soleus, which is traditionally you think of those two muscles when you think of the lower leg. So in my opinion, the standing calf raise is superior to the seated calf raise. There is a time and place for a seated calf raise. Number one, just for novelty in your program. You're getting bored just doing the standing calf raise, switch it up. You're gonna do what you like to do. Number two, if you have shoulder issues. We went over this for our pin-loaded hack squat. I'll link that up here. If you're somebody that it bothers you to put weight on your shoulder, maybe you throw in a seated calf raise instead. And number three, if you have back issues. Let's say you're dealing with some stuff, same thing, weight on your shoulders hurts, seated calf raise is a good way to hit some of your calf while taking the pressure off your shoulders and lower back. To do the seated calf raise, a lot of the same principles apply, but instead of having to squat in and out, you wanna make sure that you're at maximum flexion. You're basically on your toes as high as you can, move the lever out of the way, and again, that's so you can get the fullest range of motion. Okay, same principle applies as well. I like to pause at the bottom of each rep. I don't just bounce through it, and I make sure I bring my set 1 or 2 reps shy of failure. So just to recap, guys, we went over how to use the seated and standing calf raise. The seated calf raise focuses exclusively on the soleus. The standing calf raise will hit your gastroc and your soleus, and that's why it's my preferred machine, but certainly you can use both. We are currently working on a 10-week program. It's your first 10 weeks in the gym. Once it's done, there will be a link in the description on buying that program. It will tell you absolutely everything you should be doing your first 10 weeks in the gym. Check the description. Maybe it's done, maybe it's not done yet, but we are working on it. My name is Alex Wallace. This video is done in my gym, Wallace Fitness Center, but this channel is a more complete beast. On this channel, we talk about fitness, obviously, we talk about small business, and we talk about real estate. All three of these things are related, and I'll prove it to you if you subscribe to the channel. Again, I'm Alex Wallace. This is Wallace Fitness Center. The channel is a more complete beast, and I will see you in the next video.